This episode right here is another one I gotta add to one of my favorites, seeing Will and his mom and his dad have a sit down and talk. Uncle Phil is starting to see the repercussions of working with Omar, and so much more. So let's talk about all of that in this Bel-Air Season 3, Episode 6 review. First up, we're going to be talking about Uncle Phil. It was announced that he was the legal counsel for Omar's project, and there were people outside his home protesting. Aunt Viv wondered if they should let Jeffrey handle it, but he said some of the protests have been peaceful and he doesn't want to escalate anything. We know from the trailer it won't be peaceful for too long. We seen people climbing a gate and throwing stuff at a building and it was fire. Later on, Uncle Phil and Erica had a talk since she didn't want the personal drama to get in the way, but he said that was enough. He's gonna finish up the work with the clients that he has there, but that won't work if he leaves. Those clients stayed there with her, and he chose to leave, even when she mentioned that the protests are getting bad press. I still think him taking Omar on as a client isn't a good move, but I guess it's the only one he has right now. This right here was bound to happen. We all know what Jazz is going through when it comes to his taxes, and Uncle Phil showed up with an offer. Omar wants to buy Charlie's. I don't think Jazz will sell, but he's gonna have to come up with some way to get that money. It's either he loses the shop because of the taxes or he sells it to Omar. We know that place means a lot to him and many others around there from what we heard from him and Yolanda when they had a talk. In the future, Jazz will have a talk with Will from the trailer that was shown, and it gets brought up, but I doubt Will trying to talk to Uncle Phil will change anything. And Jazz knows this, so it's going to be a little awkward if he's around Uncle Phil, and Will most likely will be conflicted because that's his family and his friend. Hopefully, Jazz won't have to sell his business and that he'll be able to continue to be there. Speaking of Will, he brought his mom out there. They were happy. It wasn't just because he wanted to see her, but he wanted to have a sit down with her and Lou. Before all that happened, Will and Carlton had their moms wearing their merch. He was live streaming, and when she heard him say that he was into entrepreneurship, she had a look that wasn't agreeing with it. This was mentioned later on when she had a talk with Viv about her sitting down with Lou and Will being an entrepreneur. Vi thinks they made it easy for Will to walk away from basketball and that this business may be fun for the summer, but will it pay for college? To be fair, it didn't seem like he was quitting forever. It was just for the summer, because he can then use basketball to go to college and learn even more. Viv did kind of agree with what Will was saying about them having a sit down. Aunt Viv's words must have gotten through to her when she mentioned that at least Will is trying to have a sit down with his parents and talk about it. Being that vulnerable, it's tough. Eventually, Vi did agree to the sit down with Lou, but it had to be at a neutral place, which was where Carlton came in handy. He had Spencer let them use the place that they have their meetings at. Everyone showed up. The sit down did have a rough start, but the conversation started going. Will let Lou know that he was upset when he basically laughed at him when he said he wanted more for his life. Lou told him that he wants everything for his son, but when he looks at Will, it's like him looking into the mirror. Will told him no disrespect, but he doesn't know him like that, and Lou said he doesn't know him either. Vi chimed in and said now's the time to tell him, which I doubt that would have happened if she wasn't there. They gotta have a talk. Lou told him that his father passed away when he was locked up, and a year later his mom passed away. He was the same age as Will. He had to move in with his grandparents, similar to how Will moved in with Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv. Eventually, he dropped out of school being in the streets. As a father, it's so much he wants to tell Will, but he lost that right. He mentioned that he gets angry because he sees his son making the same mistakes and there's nothing that he could do about it. I think it's good that we're learning about Lou, why he acts the way he does, and what he went through. That was sad. He lost his parents. He dropped out of school doing stuff that he shouldn't have been doing. Those were tough times for him. Also, him not having the right to say anything may be true to an extent, but he still could offer some advice. He does get angry at times, and that blocks what he could be saying because Will is just going to get angry right back at him. Now's the time Will gets the whole story about Lou going to jail. They were going 5 days without heat in the winter, and Will's mom wasn't going to stay there anymore. Lou had to get things right. Will asked if that's why he robbed that guy. Vi said Lou did some work for a man moving refrigerators and he promised to pay him, but he didn't. She said she didn't send him over there to rob him, but she was clear that he should get what he's owed. Lou said things just went south fast and he regrets how it ended. His mom let him know that she always talked about cleaning up his father's messes, but he wasn't the only one to blame for that night. Him hearing that story helped him out. They were all crying and hugging. It was a nice moment. This was my favorite moment from the episode, and it's up there as one of the best ones in the series so far. Having a family sit down that has their own problems to talk it out, so much emotion is there from the past and present. To get the history of Lou and what happened to him trying to help out his family, and in an instant, things changed and turned out bad. Now to have spoken everything to help out their son, and maybe they knew it or not, in a way it helped them out as well. Not to say everything's perfect or fixed, but it was a conversation that needed to happen. Most families may not be able to do what they did. I'm glad they showcased it. And what did Carlton say in episode 1? You can't heal what you don't reveal. This was a great scene of a family showing progress. Later on, Will's mom takes responsibility that she allowed her issues with Lou to become Will's, and that wasn't fair to him or Lou. And that she doesn't want to stand in the way of what he wants or doesn't want, which includes a relationship with his father. It's good she's making sure her son isn't affected by her issues with Lou because it doesn't have anything to do with him. That's between the two of them. In addition, I'm glad she's supporting Will trying to be an entrepreneur or just anything that he wants to do. I thought this was another good moment for Will. Him and Lou are playing basketball and he told him thank you for the talk. And Lou also added that he left something out that he wanted him to know, that he's proud of him. I was like, bro, right there means a lot and can go a long way. Him hearing from his father that he's proud of him, shout out to Lou. In the future, I hope we see Lou more and that he's doing better. Moving along, Carlton's talking to Amira about what happened at the country club and that Spencer told him to stay in tune with his emotions day to day to stop it from happening. And right now is a vulnerable time and he might be leaning into things that feel great but might not be great for him. She said she didn't want to get in the way and that whatever he needs, just tell her. Also, you could tell she didn't like what she heard about what Spencer said. When they met up later for the meeting, Amira wasn't too kind to Spencer. She thought if he has a problem with her, say it to her face. She's sick of people feeling like they have something to say about their relationship like they know them. Spencer told her that he knows her, and she said she wanted to find a different meeting. Spencer just left it at as long as they're doing what's best for their sobriety. Amira is starting to overstep. They're going to that place to work on themselves, and Carlton has been making improvements. And she seems like she's not making any improvements, and right now what she did was too much. But Spencer kept it professional and didn't let Amira bother him. Then when it was just the two of them talking, she brought up how his parents don't like her and if he's tried talking to them again. He told her that she could come over for dinner the next day. He had a talk with Aunt Viv. She was okay with her coming to dinner even though she wanted to wait a while at first. When it was time for dinner, she didn't show up, but she did show up later. Carlton was a little mad. He brought up about them walking out of the meeting, her pressing him about knowing his parents and not showing up. She told him it's so much going on, and then Aunt Viv showed up and she told her she didn't mean any disrespect missing dinner. It was the anniversary of her sister passing away. This time of the year is just hard for her. Now we can see why she was acting up. That was part of it, and I wonder if losing her sister is the reason why she got hooked on stuff. It might be because she misses her sister. There's still some work that she has to do, and hopefully she's able to do that. I hope nothing happens to her in the rest of the episodes, but it was brave of her to let them know why she was late and acting the way she was. Amira and Carlton are by the pool. She tells him she's going to share her location with him so he knows where she's at. And he told her she doesn't have to hide. He wants to love all of her. And she said mess and all, and he agreed. That means something's gonna happen. I think he may see her location in the same spot for too long, and it could mean that something bad might have happened. But we'll just have to wait and see. Moving along to Jeffrey, him and Penelope are trying to figure out how to handle the situation. She suggested that they talk to his brother Roman. And he's played by Joseph Marcel, who played the original Jeffrey in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Roman let him know that his son being adopted by a different family is what probably kept him hidden. Jeffrey realized that he was hidden until he got in contact with him, and Roman added that Penelope's recent contact didn't go unnoticed. The organization has some terms and Roman was there to deliver them. They have taken some hits that have affected them. They want Jeffrey to return to the organization, pay his debts by serving his time. At this point, I was like, they can't take him out of the show. He worked so hard to change his life around. He finally has his family together, and it sucks if it's broken up. Jeffrey tells Uncle Phil about what happened, and he's trying to tell Jeffrey that there's another way, but it seems like he's accepted what he has to do. After all of that, it turns out that he isn't leaving. Instead, he has some money that he is giving them as a counteroffer. That money is to pay his debt, and he told his brother to convince them that that's enough since he owes them that much. Hopefully, that'll be enough for them to leave him alone because I don't want to see anything happen to any of the characters. Jeffrey's not perfect, but he has done better than he did before, and he's always making sure to take care of those around him. At first, I thought it might have been a plan for Penelope and Frederick to get some money from him and leave, but I don't think that's it, so that's good. And also, it was nice to see Joseph in the show and for him to be playing the character that he used to play as brother. Overall, great episode. We're starting to see the beginning of what's to come with Uncle Phil working with Omar, Jeffrey trying to take care of things and make sure that everyone is safe, and Will having to sit down with his parents working out everything. And we're almost done with the season, and I can't wait to see what else they show off. But I am interested to hear y'all thoughts. Comment below. What did you all think about the episode?